Hello and welcome to 3 from the 7, Relix's weekly news podcast chronicling 3 of our biggest news stories from the past 7 days. My name is Rafaela Kenny Sincata. I am the associate editor at Relix Magazine. I am joined, as always, by Karina Reichman. We got a lot to talk about, but the main thing to talk about are these two gentlemen on my right and left, if you're watching at home. Mr. Sean Eccles, Mr. Andy Frasco.
What up? Hey, thank you!
Yes!
Big win.
Both of which
Big lavish studio up in this bitch right now. I love it, y'all. I'm proud of y'all. Look how many fucking cameras you got, dog. Y'all are moving up in the podcast world.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
I'm proud of y'all. This is exciting. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, dude. Sean, welcome.
Thanks for adding another chair. I appreciate it. Thank you.
For you, no problem.
Thank you.
And we got a lot of news to talk about. We're going to talk about some Neal Casal news. We're going to talk about the Black Crowes. But our first story of the week involves you two fine gentlemen, because Andy Frasco and the UN have a brand new record.
I want to fuck with this thing the whole time, dude.
Andy is in front of buttons that make noises, and I am very concerned.
Yeah, sorry. Don't. Yeah, no.
You're doing great.
Thank you so much.
So wait, tell me about the new record, dog.
Yeah, we put out a record. Dave Schools produced half of it, and Kenny Carkeet from AWOL Nation produced half of it. So I wanted to get both sides, and yeah, I'm making a record for mental health. I'm trying to write a whole record about how we could find a way to have an open communication about anxiety and therapy. And people are afraid to talk about therapy and talk about how what they're feeling inside. It's suppressing feelings because social media has been fucking us with that, and we only have to put happy stuff and good stuff, and life's not all about that. So I wanted to make a record about that.
Yeah, the record's called Keep On Keeping On. It's out April 24th, and I think that's just like an amazing title in general, because I think all of us are just trying to keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, shit, I found therapy about 5 months ago. I was going through, I was doing coke every night and like having one night stands and just living in the moment. If it, like, how cliche that sounds, but
just living for today, bro.
Yeah, it was just when you do 250 shows a year, that means you're doing coke 250 days a year, and you're doing you're fucking that much as well. So it's like it's makes it you have to realize why you're doing it. Are you lonely? Are you suppressing who you are and stuff? So I had to ask some hard questions, like, why am I doing this to myself? So I started writing poetry, and I wrote these little blogs, and from there I was like, whatever I could use for the record, because I do it with my podcast, talk about all the things, mental health related. So I wanted to do it with our music too. So instead of writing songs like Blame It on the Pussy and Smoking Dope and Rock and Roll, we're actually trying to write, we're just trying to make people think about another side of life that it's misunderstood.
And it's nice, and you guys keep a balance with that too, because it's by no means...
We still play Blame It on the Pussy.
Exactly.
We still play Mature as fuck.
Your current tour with Big Something, you guys are flying through folding tables.
Yeah,
that's but there's a balance. That's the yin and the yang.
There's songs with content now that actually say something that are important. Anybody on the road, need a self-evaluation about what you're up to or just how you feel. I think it's awesome to open up the conversation. So, and I'm proud of my boy.
I'm proud of you, brother. Thank you so much.
We're proud.
The live studio audience, thank you. I'm maturing right
They're proud of you. Everybody in here.
Just cheers across America right now.
I know.
But like, you're a musician. How hard is it to be vulnerable?
Incredibly. Incredibly.
What's your biggest thing that you're vulnerable about?
I mean, it's all, I don't know. I just feel like, going on the road and coming back, it's like you're living two separate lives. And that's what people kind of don't understand about, what it is to be a touring musician.
Yeah.
Where you turn it on every night for 2 hours and you put so much out, and then you come home and, I don't play 250 shows a year, but I've played 60 in the last 4 months, But
I'm trying to catch up. You've been playing music since you're like fucking 13
Sure,
or something.
totally.
So you've been gigging that much.
Yeah, but when you're like actually on the road and stuff, and I just find like when I come home, it takes a good amount of time to, readjust and like get your adrenaline levels, because like I live for the 2 hours on stage.
Yeah. You get used to it big time, and you're kind of addicted to it.
Incredibly.
You don't know what to do with yourself when you're just having a mellow night on the couch.
Exactly. And I'll come home and I'll just be like, I'm so mentally and emotionally and physically exhausted. I can't wait to go to sleep early. And then nope, midnight strikes, and
You're
I'm like,
all night long.
Let's fucking go!
And then I'm like, oh, New York!
Mosh pit in the living room.
I'm like,
but it's true though. Like, I mean, they call it the dip day,
right?
So like, you get home, you're still on adrenaline from a beautiful tour. Then like it's the second day where your brain's like, hey, I should be moving. I should be like turning your brain on and off is probably the hardest thing about being a touring musician.
Wildly, and I find it very I have such a tight knit crew of in the Marco band and in my band, just like our LD Jeff Folkhausen. Shout out to Jeff and Julian Booker. Shout out to front of house. We're so close, and we see each other. Basically 24 hours a day, every day, and then you go home and you're like, oh, whoa, okay. Like, how do you refill your soul with?
Where's my family?
And where's my family? And my dear friends at home. It's all good, and it's just come. I don't know. I find that these ups and downs are what people don't understand. It makes it really tough in a lot of ways.
Well, that's the beauty thing about Marco and how he dresses your backstage. How you have a vibe. You feel like your backstage is your home.
Absolutely.
So you have like a vinyl player, you have all your costumes, you got your fucking coffee. I heard he has an espresso machine.
We have an espresso machine. I got that.
Yeah, that's
tight as
fucking
fuck.
Party case, dude.
That's
It's called Black Baca because it is large like Chewbacca and it's black.
How big is it? Take up half the trailer?
Yes,
It's big.
Yes, it's enormous, and then it swings open.
It's a big road case.
And it has 3 drawers, and then the top he screwed in a tube amp that just you open it up and it's already in there. And then there's a record player, my espresso machine next to it.
That's why I love Marco though, because it's all about vibe.
It's all about vibe.
If you can't have a good setting when you're off that stage for those 15 hours that you're in the van and you're backstage and you could maybe have to go to a sound check at 2 p.m. and you got 6 hours, that's going to affect your whole show at 10 o'clock
Absolutely.
If the vibe isn't right.
I couldn't agree more, and he's so committed to the vibe. And
Shout out to Marco.
Marco.
Let's give a high five to Marco. Our
Hey, give some applause.
Hey, Marco!
Dr. Benevento.
Dr. Benevento.
A guest of the podcast.
And I try to bring the same thing. I've taken so much of that, and when I have my own gigs, I really try and recreate that. And my guitar player, Adam November, shout out to Adam November, has created a mini Black Baca out of a Pelican case.
Hold on, so you're bringing this in the subways and shit?
Oh yeah, wherever it's gotta go. Wherever it's gotta go.
I fucking love you, dog.
So we try and replicate the vibe and have it be it's an amazing thing if you tour so much and you play so many shows that when you come home you're almost tour sick, if you know what I mean. It's an amazing thing.
I would love to see one of you guys a CAT scan of your brain during tour.
It's
a day after
it's
tour
dark,
and then
dog.
a week after tour. Because I'm saying when you guys have that crazy adrenaline rush 2 days after, is your brain doing the same thing it would have done right before you stepped on stage?
I'm up. I'll do this thing where we go to sleep, and then at midnight, I'm hanging out with my wife. It's 9 p.m. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm watching Netflix. This is great. And then about midnight, you're hello. You got all this energy you don't know what to do with. And I'm up until 5 in the morning, like you would be until you get to the hotel or something.
Totally.
On the
Same.
road, and it takes a minute. We were off the road for 2 months, and I got into the home vibe a little bit. More than I was on tour.
Yeah.
And then that affected going back on the road. It's 9 o'clock. I'm I think it's about bedtime,
It's a constant readjusting.
Always. Yeah.
You're readjusting from being home, you're readjusting from being on the road, and I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest, and I love that.
Totally.
Do you get anxiety?
Me?
About what?
As much as the next guy. Various stuff. I'm pretty chill for the most part. I feel like I can navigate all these things pretty well. But yeah, I get totally anxious about random shit. Stuff.
What's the thing that's always on your mind that makes you anxious?
Karina on the spot.
I wouldn't be able to pinpoint one singular thing, which I'm grateful for.
That's fucking awesome.
But things come and go. I don't get stage fright. I don't get whatever. But if it's my tour, with my band, and I am the tour manager, and the mom, and the lead, I get totally anxious about is everything gonna go right? And is everybody happy? Are we good? Are people stoked to be doing this? That type of shit.
Yeah, and I think that's also something that a lot of our fans don't realize is we don't just work for just 2 hours. We're working for 15 hours. It's hard to maintain a tour. It's hard to market a tour and figure out how pre-sales are going and how we're going to market the next week's tour. And, and while you're doing that, you're confirming your life for 4 months in advance because you're getting shows it's a nonstop thing. It's not just playing music and taking drugs.
Yeah, the end.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
I
But no,
bet.
exactly. And like, actually, ticket counts can make me nervous, whether they're good or bad. Like
And it's
sometimes,
fucked up because this jam scene is a walk up.
100%.
So like you'll be like, fuck, dude, we're at a 900 cap room. There's 100 pre-sales. What the fuck am I doing in this 900 cap room? But all of a sudden there's 600 people that show up. Like, so it's like, you gotta trust the universe. But jam fans, buy advance tickets. I know we're potheads. Just buy advance tickets so we don't get that anxiety that no one's gonna fucking show up to our shows. We know you're gonna show up. I know it. Just be a homie. Pay the $3 fucking ticket.
Help
fee.
Andy Frasco with his anxiety.
I'm Andy Frasco,
such a
and I want you to buy a
neurotic
ticket.
Jewish person, I'm Andy Frasco, and I want you to pre-sale tickets.
But all this conversation about anxiety and kind of the stresses of being on the road kind of segue perfectly into our next story. A Neal Casal tribute album called Highway Butterfly is on its way. Andy, your pal Dave Schools is co-producing.
Yeah.
And it's going to benefit mental health organizations like Music Cares and our friends at Backline and the Neal Casal Music Foundation. So kind of give me some inside scoop if you know a little bit about this record.
Dave is so excited about this project. I've never seen him really glow like this because, Neal is so fucking important to the scene, man. And like for him to be misunderstood like that, and it just breaks my heart. And I don't want anyone to feel misunderstood. And I know Dave doesn't either. So like he's taking this thing on, and like for Neal's legacy. And I think that's fucking honorable of him.
This is all Neal's music too, right?
I know, yeah.
I just read about it. It's great.
Yeah, and he's
It's
got
really
some
beautiful.
great collabs that are coming on. And, for Dave to take the time to do this for a guy he loves is, he's got my vote, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I know even just from a fan's perspective, losing Neal was incredibly heartbreaking. So especially the musicians who knew him as well as someone like Dave did, it must really be close to their heart. Did you guys ever really get to meet or hang out with Neal?
We hung out with Neal the day before we were at Lock-In.
The Friday. Well, he circles
passed.
around the summer right around. I remember seriously being like, man, I'd love to meet Neal or something. I know Mark Levy, the drummer, but I know we just hung out with Mark and just time went by, and we didn't get to have the meeting. Just like
I saw him
man.
holding two guitar cases, kind of like heroically just walking up a thing. And now I look back at it, like it kind of felt ghostly. Like he was, he was hurt, but he's such a legend to me. Like I'm not gonna be like, hey, how you feeling? How's your anxiety? Like,
Right.
like I don't know him that well. Like I could say that to Karina because I've met you on my podcast. Like, I'm sorry, Karina, if I'm
it's cool, bro. No, it's cool.
But but that's the thing. Like it's the same thing. Like as a fan, like what do you think triggered? Like what do you think triggered that?
What happened to Neal? From kind of what you guys are talking about, having to be that guy and being the
always put on a smile and stuff.
being the most popular guy in the room and simultaneously being really alone and feeling really alone. And also I think people get tortured by their genius sometimes. I know even myself, and like I'm a blip on the radar compared to someone like Neal Casal, but like I doubt myself. I have imposter syndrome often. Like I'm always like, what the hell am I doing here? Why am I talking to these three amazing musicians? So maybe he had something like that. I can't speak to anything for sure, but it's definitely heartbreaking. I went to his funeral basically at the Capitol Theater, that 4-hour show, and it was incredibly heartbreaking. Everyone was crying, myself included. They had his surfboards around the stage. They had his jacket on a chair with his guitar next to it. You felt his spirit in the room, man. It was really, really fucking heavy. But at least there's some education and some understanding coming out of this incredibly gray cloud, the silver lining being places like Backline, who, including in this room, are putting literature about mental health resources in every green room, ideally, around the country, especially ones that people within our scene frequent. And places like Music Cares that are resources for musicians. Do you guys feel like there are resources out there for you, or there needs to be more?
Now,
Since
things like this, and unfortunately it takes things like this to happen, but to make it more aware.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of
it's on the it's being talked about a lot more now. So
yeah, we're trying to pitch this thing where we how they have massage therapists. We're gonna think about trying to get a therapist to be backstage and just have their own space. And if people want to talk to someone, because that's the one thing bad about the healthcare program is like you can't get insured for therapy. And a lot of people can't afford a therapy because it's $200, $300. Like I pay fucking $250 a session,
Jesus.
and I'm broke as shit, dog. I'm like spending half my salary to get better. and and whatever it's gonna take. I mean, like I don't want to suppress my feelings anymore. I don't want anything to happen like that, because you see guys like Neal, and you see guys like even like he wasn't depressed, but the Kobe Bryant death. We realized we're not immortal, and anything could happen. So we might as well open up. We might as well talk about how we feel, just in case it's the last time you could talk to someone. Like it's fucking hard.
I mean,
out
any
there.
kind of venting, just in general, if it's deep or not. When you're just pissed off, and you're like, man, fuck that guy. And you're like, okay, now it's off my chest. I feel way fucking better.
Yeah.
So and I think just saying things out loud can really, really help. And just for me personally, just hopefully for other people too.
Yeah, and a shrink, is a nonpartisan person in your life. You know what I mean?
Anonymous to you.
To you,
Yeah.
meaning like you're not laying too much on your friend. You're not, or whether or not that's true and the friend wants to hear it or doesn't want to hear it, or your parents or whoever it is. Like it's a non-partisan person.
You can talk shit about your mom for $250
and
an
you're
hour.
good. And
You
they're
can
ready to hear it. Guilt-free. And they're like, oh yeah, tell me more. Tell me more. It's great. It's great. I think that's important. I love the idea of having like a therapist backstage.
Yeah.
If
Do you
share
think it'd
that.
be useful though?
Do I think it would be useful?
Like, do you think people would use it?
I'd go.
But if you made it
interesting.
private and it made it, you didn't like, oh, this guy's going to therapy.
Yeah, that's
Right.
That's the only thing that's kind of like, we need it to be private. It need to be their sanctuary.
It's true. I think it would be useful. I think people would use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not every night. You know what I mean? Not every
No,
show.
just at the festivals
But,
where
yeah.
everyone's together.
Absolutely.
You're having a rough day and you're at the festival and it's like, wow, that's available.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Go jump in the trailer and
But
get
yeah,
something off
like
your chest.
we work out our bodies, we work out, our hearts, we work out
Practice.
our practicing. Why can't we work out our minds?
Yeah, and
'Cause
there's
that's-
something to be said for it being free. I mean, when I was in college, I went to like the free therapy there because I was like,
Right.
who am I to turn down free therapy?
I
Like,
know.
Oh, yeah,
we all
you-
got shit to work out.
Hold
I
on,
might
were
as
they
well-
good? Was it good therapy?
Yeah, it was good. Although I went so many weeks in a row that she was like, I'm going to recommend someone outside of the university because people are waiting in line.
We got
And I was
intern
like,
Dallas.
exactly. I was like, I pay a lot of money to go to this school. I will take you up on that free therapy as long as you will have me.
Well, shit, it ain't free, dog. It's probably $40,000.
Exactly. You're not still paying student debt, dog. Come on.
That's one thing too. Like, goddamn. I mean, I get it. Like, we grow debt. I mean, as a musician, you're not making a lot of money. So, if you want to start a family, you're gonna use a lot of credit cards. Probably have a lot of credit card debt. You probably have a lot of stress. You're never with your kids. You're never with your wife. I mean, there's so much stuff that you're suppressing. And you still have to make every one of these people happy.
Yeah.
Because
And act like nothing's wrong.
And act like nothing's wrong. And that's the same problem with social
happy
media. It's like we are force-feeding happiness even when we're not happy. And how can we fix that as a community? Because we're just becoming fake. It's like, I don't want to be fake. That's not the reason why we're doing art, is to be our complete authentic self. So.
Right.
Do you feel like an obligation though? Because for a lot of people who don't go to therapy, concerts are their therapy.
Yeah,
They get their wiggles out. They, especially in the jam scene, a lot of people are emotionally connected to this music on a very deep level. Do you feel like that's where some of that stress and anxiety comes from? The obligation of like, I need to lead this congregation of people to
Fuck yeah.
reach their fucking ecstasy,
People put musicians on pedestals for their happiness.
Frasco's pretty honest on stage. He'll be like, okay, I feel like shit today. And then halfway through, he's like, y'all made me feel better. So it's like therapy both ways. I mean, it's being honest about it,
I mean, if we didn't like this, we wouldn't be fucking doing this. It's too hard.
It's hard.
To not love every inch of being on the road, being in with your fucking front of house, dude, and like
Julian.
having the Chewbacca fucking
Chewbacca. Black Baka.
Black Baka, have Black Baka, but like we're a family, you know. You have to have a family, and it's too important not to be who you want to be, you know.
Well, speaking of family, our third story of the week.
Damn, segue.
The Black Crows.
Good set.
Kick ass.
Yo, you're kicking ass. in
Good
that.
one,
Thanks,
Ralph.
dude. I appreciate that. The Black Crows have scheduled a Brothers of a Feather acoustic tour. They are hitting from February 12th to March 6th. A bunch of acoustic dates. London, Amsterdam, and all across the U.S. Gentlemen, the most interesting part about this, it is February 10th we are recording this. They are out on the road on February 12th. What are they thinking?
Carry the 2.
Over under. When are they going to start beating the shit out of each other?
Ooh, and they'll still finish the tour though. I don't know. No.
So apparently Sean is our
February
resident.
11th.
I love the Black Crowes. I love Black Crowes. I would go see. I'm just as far as just the duo tour. They have like a version of them doing Roll 'Em Easy by Little Feat. Just the two of them doing it. It's fucking kick ass, man. So if it's anything like
Sean,
that, yes.
You are in a band with your brother. How hard is it?
We butt heads here and
Yeah,
there.
how hard is it to be in a band with your brother?
I wish we could play more music, like way more often, honestly, to hopefully get to the level of beating the shit out of each other like the Black Crowes, you know? I love my brother, but I mean, these guys, I mean, it's like, you got to give it up to them. I mean, they've broken the band up like 6 times or some shit, and they're back again, you know?
Yeah.
And they were like both on Howard Stern talking shit on each other like 6 months before they got the Black Crowes back together. So then they were on there, and like, you know, Howard's asking, he's like, boys, I had you on here. How long is this going to last? I mean, they sound good. They have a whole new band, you know. Now they fired those guys apparently already, you know. If they're on the tour, I wonder. Talking shit, but you know.
But
I bet
it's hard, dude.
Dude, it's hard. I mean,
To be in a business with
they
a
wrote
family member.
That's a lot of great songs. I mean, that were hits, and I'm a fan of songs that weren't hits too, but theirs that are just gorgeous tunes that they wrote. You know, they wrote together. So they need each other, man.
Yeah,
Maybe they're like a positive, negative. You know, try to push the magnets together, and just push away from each other.
Got to tape them on.
Yeah,
But you need those magnets.
yeah, man. I mean,
Those songs are so fucking beautiful.
So dope, man.
Do you have any siblings, Andy?
I have 2 older sisters. Yeah.
Would you think you guys would be a good little family band
fuck
there?
no. No. I love them. Shout out Mel. Shout out Steph. But fuck that, dude.
Couldn't do it.
There's nothing like making music with your family. Though. I mean,
I know.
I know a lot
Yeah.
of bands that are like I know some bluegrass bands. This one out of Missouri, Big Smith. They're 3 sets of brothers that are all cousins, and their harmony
Wow.
is
Yeah.
fucking insane.
I
It's
bet.
like just naturally built in there, and they all grew up singing gospel music, anyways. And like, yeah, my brother and I, we have a similar timbre. You know, and things like that, and like, just like, I don't know.
Isn't Billy going out with his dad or something? Did he go on tour with his Billy Strings?
Billy Strings?
He
I
did
don't
a
know. Oh, yeah, he
family
is.
thing.
Yeah. They just announced a tour. I can't remember for the
cool.
life of me what they called it, but it's like Family Strings or something. And Billy,
love it.
Billy and his father, if you YouTube it, anyone at home, like the amount, you could tell that's where he got his chops.
Yeah,
His dad
cool.
is like an older dude and can still just fucking lay it down.
Yeah.
Like
He's had a
teaching-
hard life.
Oh, Billy?
Billy.
Yeah, Billy in Michigan, right?
Yeah, it was, did meth and
He's like a real
like,
blue collar and even no collar hero. Like he came up out of nothing. And
I'm
good
proud
for
of him, man.
That's
I-
that's
that's a
psychedelic
hard-
bluegrass, man.
I didn't realize it's like the same thing as the opioid epidemic or the meth epidemic, like in these Midwest towns where, they feel like there's nothing. They got nothing left. And that's fucked up. And for him to have the struggle of that through living out there and fighting through all that addiction stuff and like kicking ass and shit. Shout out to fucking Billy Strings right here, baby.
Yeah.
My guy.
And in turn, he's like inspiring people to get their shit together and go play music themselves and to stop doing it.
It's
cool.
inspiring.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, truly. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the video of him at like a house party in Michigan playing Dust in a Baggie?
And he's in a kid.
Yeah, he's like literally there's one dude in the room who's
That's
like
killer.
dancing, and it's Billy playing a song that now he plays in front of thousands of people sold out at the Capitol Theater. It's insane.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to keep our fucking musicians alive.
Oh yeah,
Fucking
man.
Shout out to
man.
Backline, too,
Yeah,
for doing that.
Backline. If anyone at home wants to learn more about Backline, their website is backline.care, whether that's musicians or fans or anyone who wants to reach out to mental health resources. It's an amazing, rapidly growing resource for people. It's very cool.
And it's not just for the not just for the musicians. It's for the fans, too. If you guys need help, fucking talk to us. I mean, Karina, you're available.
I'm available.
Not single, but you're available.
Her number is 555.
But you know what I'm saying? We're here. Like, we're not that far away. You might be in our Instagram, not in our primary, but like I look through that shit and I read people hit me up.
Don't believe it. He looks at everything.
I
He
look at
sees
it,
everything.
Sees it all.
I'm like a fucking hawk. No, but seriously, like it's not just it's for the fans too. We know how much music means to you, so fucking communicate with us. We're here for you.
It's true. That's beautiful. I think on that note, gentlemen, we are coming near the end of our road. So usually we end every episode with what we call a weekly shout out where someone phones in, but you guys are live in person. So why don't you get up here, plug some shows?
Okay.
What do you want to let the people know?
We're doing a Royal Rumble with the Big Something.
Big
Yes.
something.
Ding, ding, ding.
This tour has been fucking insane. The shows have been selling out. We have a comedian, and it's a wrestling theme. So we had Billy Strings sit in with a wrestling mask.
Luchador mask
We have
set
all
for
these
all.
guys who they've been sitting in every night. We don't tell who the sit-in is until we unveil them. At
Doom
midway
Flamingo
through.
and Charleston.
Yeah,
said
Doom
it.
Flamingo,
Huge.
the Leftover was gonna do it, and we got a sick one at the Brooklyn Bowl. I'm not gonna tell you who, but
This Saturday.
I tried to get Karina, but she's like, "Fuck that, I ain't wrestling." No,
Brooklyn Bowl's this
I would have
Saturday.
loved to. I would have loved to.
No,
All
but-
bullshit aside,
I
I
know.
would have loved to.
I know, Karina, you're the goat.
My man.
You're the goat.
You're the goat.
Really?
No, you're the goat.
How old are you, Karina?
26.
That's what I'm talking about. You're the fucking goat.
Oh, shit.
Dude. Serious, you're a really good bass player, and like people, you're gonna blow up. You're gonna be huge. You're already huge in the scene, but like past that, like I just respect you, dude.
Yo, I respect you too,
You're
my
dope.
friend. I would have loved to have sat in with you this Saturday at the Brooklyn Bowl.
Buy
but-
your tickets.
Buy your tickets. Buy your tickets. But I am playing at the Bell House, also in Brooklyn, Saturday. It's something called Freaks Ball. It's sold out. Don't get your
See,
tickets.
she's
Don't get
more
your
popular than I am. Yeah, people. She's like, it's sold out. Fuck it.
It has nothing to
Come to
do with
Frasco
me. It has
show.
nothing to do with me.
That freaks online thing is really cool. Everyone is.
Yeah.
That's a super supportive.
Without the
community.
freaks, I would be nothing. They literally buy tickets.
They're the
Talk about
best.
people buying tickets in advance. The freaks really do.
Shout out to the freaks.
Yo,
Shout out to the freaks.
They're amazing. We love the freaks list. We love fucking Aaron Stein. We love all you cats.
I
They're amazing.
fucking love this machine,
The
dude.
Roadcaster Pro.
Oh my god, it's so tight. All right, sorry. Go back to your-
Anyway, Saturday, Brooklyn
Saturday,
Bowl.
Brooklyn Bowl.
I can't be there. I
Big
would have
something.
loved to have luchadored it up with you
Yeah,
guys. I really
next
would
time.
have. But I'm sure you have something way doper than
We should
me.
do a tour with Marco, or if you with your band.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
How do we make this happen?
Royal
Rumble Part 2.
Karina Reichman for Andy. No, that
This
sounds like a
Saturday.
lawsuit.
At the Super Center.
I superfly snuck at your ass every night from a rafter, and that's it. That's the whole show.
Yeah, because we're doing like ladder matches where we're jumping off tables and shit. We're doing our own
Crowd
stunts.
surfing
This
to
is
basketball hoops and
dude,
shit. It's
This is like
fucking
amateur porn. It's just like, it's like you don't know what to expect.
low
It could
budget,
be-
but it's sure as fun.
Everyone loves it. Something for everybody.
You guys have like a lawyer or something
No,
someone who
but
just is nervous the entire
my
show
foot,
that
I had
someone's
this-
gonna break their neck.
My foot has stitches. Our comedian dislocated his finger last night from jumping
Shit
through
is
the
real.
table. It's real.
It's very punk rock.
It
It's
is.
like y'all are like, yeah, totally. It's like, you know, in the jam world, if you will, but y'all are fucking pioneers of punk in my
We're
head.
trying.
It's full contact
Y'all
rock and
are
roll.
It's
full
full
blown.
con.
You're full blown, and I like it a lot. I
Yeah,
like it a
I
lot.
mean, Marco's jumping up on his fucking piano and
true.
shit. Like you guys are punk rock too, dog.
His father comes to me and he says, "Karina, you have a direct line to my son," and I have told him this quite a bit, but he just does not listen to me. Tell him he is 42, not 22 anymore.
Sit down.
He needs to stop jumping off the piano.
Cue
yeah.
Godfather music when they're in that Karina speech.
Nope, that was not Godfather music. It could be.
Thanks for having us, guys.
You guys,
Thank you so much. I want to remind everyone to sign up for the Relix Daily 7 at relix.com/daily. Subscribe to Relix Magazine, the best magazine in the goddamn world.
Goddamn.
Relix.com/subscribe.
Shapiro.
Shappy
Ron
coming
Jeremy
for
of the
ya.
jam scene. Got that big dick, dog.
Follow us on Instagram at 3from7. Email us at raffandkarina@gmail.com. 3 from the 7 is brought to you by Relix Media Group. Our engineer is Will Schwerd. Hashtag Schwerd up. The man, the myth, the
That's our
legend.
boy. He's
Shout
cutting
out.
this right now.
Sean, thank you so much for joining
Thanks
us.
for having
Andy,
me.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Final words, guys? Do you want to just send us out?
Send us off.
Whatever you want to do in your life, just fucking do it. Doesn't matter if your mom or dad hate the idea. Just be who exactly you want to be.
Beautiful.
Fuck yeah.
Have a
Cheers.
wonderful week, everybody. Bye-bye. Crank it up.
Blast that shit.